Just finished standing. I wanted to just talk a little bit about the specifics of standing. Standing is a really important practice. It is not qigong, and it's not that it's less than 200 years old, and I first learned it in the mid 60s from Guolan Ying, who learned it from Wang Shenzai, who was the originator. So that's why it's not that old. Um, and then later on went to Henry Look, who's actually my junior brother, but he was part of a group that brought seafood to the U.S. Bing was part of that group to learn more about Ichuan, about standing. And so then I did a workshop with him sometime during the 20th century. I can't remember when, at a big turn at the Guoshu tournament, and learned about 8 postures rather than just the one, which Guo called the universal pose posture. But I wanted to get very specific about those positions, those all 8 positions. So could you hold the camera for a minute and just film me talking about, yeah. So position number 1 is an equilateral triangle, and the fingertips are 1 to 2 fists apart. The pointer finger should be eyebrow height. So that's a way to gauge it, that it's straight across from your eyebrows. And you're trying to make your palms face you, and the fingers are equidistant, and the thumb and the fingers all pointed. In other words, the thumb isn't sticking up like a hitchhiker. It's like a Tai Chi palm. Then right now we're doing 20 minutes, but 40 minutes is the ideal. And when you first start out, you might not be able to do it as long. And then you're going to just rotate inward, like about an eighth or 16th of a turn. It's just very slight. So this very slight movement, it almost feels like, oh, come on, you gotta be kidding. But I'll tell you one very important thing about each one is that it expands your back, and therefore your front is hollow and your back expands. So this section of your arm, from your shoulder to your elbow, is in a constant feeling of being lengthened. And if you follow Thai boxing at all, they talk about the 8 limbs. So they're talking about 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 elbows, 2 knees. So if you are expanding this section, your elbow shot is going to be closer to your opponent, because you're able to stretch from this between the shoulder blades. So that's what you're constantly doing, is expanding this segment, stretching, and it's also lung meridian. Then when you come down to number 3, it's like you're holding a barrel. It's the same as universal pose posture, only waist height. So sometimes we say you're hugging Santa Claus. And then when you go to number 4, the elbows stay the same and the forearms just slip down. So this looks very much like the position in Wave Hands Like Clouds when you don't scoop, when you hold this way. And this is actually a very good block, because you can, if you scoop, you can squeeze the leg. If you scoop a kick, you can squeeze it and hang on to it. Whereas if you scoop it this way, you can't hold the kick. So, and you'll see this position repeatedly, especially in short form. So, for example, after part the main, and we come across like this, right? Or you can scoop this way, which I do in my earlier videos, but this is actually better martially, to just scoop across this way. Anyway, so that's number 4. Then this whole thing just scoops up to number 5. So if you just bring this shape up in the same rounded arc, and now it's going to go eyebrow height, just right across from your eyebrows, 1 to 2 fists apart. And here's the classic, is chest height, 1 to 2 fists apart. then you go to the squares. So I want to mention the elbows, don't let your body, your armpits collapse. You feel there's some negative space, open space between your torso and your elbow. So, and that's the same for number 8. And then we add on Sintien Muji Qigong from David Chin, which is entirely unrelated, but it is his standing meditation, something that so I like to combine the two because at standing you can feel a little stiff after, and that really helps to loosen you up. So I hope that helps you with your standing, and good for now.